Hello everybody and welcome back to Space Engineers. Today we'll be looking at the WEC Talos strike carrier. And in front of me is Lunar, the actual host of the video.
Thank you for the intro, Yoshi. Yes, so today we're going to be taking a look at the Talos class strike carrier. This is a WEC ship built by Yoshi, myself, Reva and Omega.
Yep.
So it's currently the largest published
And the latest.
yeah, and the newest WEC ship post Warfare 2 as well. It is vanilla, but it does use a bit of DLC. So do you want to give us a little bit of just an idea of the WEC and like the sort of doctrine that this ship fits into?
Yeah, well, I guess for starters, this was essentially from a lore standpoint built as a counter to REC and TFK battle groups that have been harassing the WEC, especially since the lore event known as the Raid of Lambda 4 cinematic can be found on Lunar's channel. And yeah, honestly, it was built as a response to that and to sort of act as a diplomatic vessel with capabilities of force projection if necessary.
And did you have any inspirations when building this ship?
Well, honestly, I just kind of wanted to build a carrier that had the ability to essentially drop into battle, deploy whatever it needs to deploy, and then get back out, or if necessary, just work as combat support, essentially. A big inspiration, honestly, was from Battlestar Galactica, the Adama maneuver. That was probably the biggest inspiration, actually, with the whole dropping into battle.
Is that where the Battlestar jumps in atmosphere? Yeah.
Where it jumps in atmosphere and deploys the fighters whilst falling, essentially.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, I can get that. I can get that. So we have got 4 drop hangar bays on the ventral side here, where you can fit 4 of your torch interceptors.
Yep, torch interceptors, construction drones, miner drones, whatever you want to use this for, honestly. You can use it for military or even civilian purposes.
You can actually fit an Alto in there as well.
Oh yeah, that too. It's literally compatible with like most small fighters.
And in terms of sort of colour scheme here, so you make use of, we've got multiple different types of skins going on here as well, haven't we?
Oh yeah, we have like the central sort of spine that I've been doing on all recent WEC ships. That's just like full black, what is it, neon colorable?
Colorable surface, yeah.
Yeah, and that just, it makes it like, actually I think it's colorable lights, if I remember.
Alright, okay.
But yeah, I think it's, well, the main reason I did it is because it literally absorbs all the light. And it just makes it look sort of like plating, essentially. Like reflective carbon plating, sort of. I used to have it as carbon, but I think it actually looks better with this black thing.
It's become sort of a hallmark of the WEC, that black stripe down the centre.
Oh yeah, it's certainly, ever since I started doing proper military ships.
And here we have custom
turrets.
Yeah, custom gatling turrets here. So
yeah, and these actually, they work, well, with 2 barrels, they literally work twice as effective as a normal gatling gun. And are harder to hit.
And look way cooler.
They don't really last as long in combat, from what I've discovered, but the DPS alone makes up for it.
Yeah, I'd imagine these are pretty good anti-fighter.
Oh yeah, for sure. They shred like most fighters that I've tested it against, mainly TFK.
As well as that, we've got interior turrets just all over the place for...
Oh yeah, point defense.
Point defense, yeah. Then we've got some assault cannons up here. And then artillery.
Under the wings on the back we have 2 massive artillery guns. Which might be a bit overcompensating in some cases, but if you're going for bombardment with the whole fighters and whatnot, it works.
As well as... Were there rocket pods? Ah, yes, the broadside rocket pods, yes. I remember these.
4 for each side. And they definitely do some damage, not as much as I would hope, especially after Warfare 2, but they do a lot of damage if you actually hit.
Yeah, I mean, they're very situational, but if you get into a position where you can use them, then it is pretty devastating.
And overall, the front is pretty beefy in regards to armor, especially with all the components inside. Those tank a lot of damage.
We have got heavy armor on the bridge here, haven't we? Is there heavy armor anywhere else?
Yeah, on the entire like back section actually, with the engine cowlings and whatnot. It helps protect a lot of like delicate parts, especially hydrogen tanks.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are very vulnerable now, and I'm actually glad that I chose to armor them up well before Warfare 2.
So this is a hydrogen-only ship?
Yep.
Hydrogen-only,
but
right.
It works in just about every environment up to, I think I tested at 2 Gs, and it still works.
Wow. It has got a lot of thrust, to be fair.
Yeah, it does. It needs it, though, for like combat maneuverability.
Yeah. So, do you want to take us through the interior of the ship?
Yeah, sure. So over here, if we move in through the, I think it's, yeah, starboard airlock, we just have like this armory area. Not that detailed, but as soon as we move in, we are confronted with a maze of corridors. As is technically typical for IRL carriers as well. Then over here we have, as usual, the shitter. Needed it, obviously, for realism's purposes, but yeah. We have some spare parts, guns, and if we move up here, we actually have the starboard crew quarters. Just simple, 5 bunks, gets the job done. Same, pretty much the exact same design goes on over the port side, but if we move forward towards the bow, or, well, the midsection of the ship, we're confronted with a blue screen. That's to be expected. And some more armories. Then towards the middle here, we have sort of just a lot of greeble, especially with the turret control stations.
Oh yeah. Nicely set up LCDs on there.
Now, I'm hopeful that this is showing the correct LCD for you, because it isn't on my end, but...
Yeah, this is the red alert one, right?
Yeah, correct. Okay,
yeah,
no, for me it's just showing the faction logo.
Yeah, I see it right, don't worry.
Alright. And yeah, behind you is like this contracts terminal that I sort of just use as a computer interface. It fits well with the whole like greeble aesthetic essentially. And you have the jump drive tucked behind it.
Oh yeah. I see that. Very nice.
And it does make for some pretty good looking interior.
Yeah.
Then if we move down here, we have a small medical bay with a survival kit.
Oh, use of the new blocks as well. I like these.
And the new windows, yes.
Viewport
and
as well.
These are actually pretty protected from gunfire, from what I've tested.
Like a window.
And if we move on to the other side, we have the captain's quarters. A bit empty, mainly for customization purposes. Obviously, their own toilet, chair, bed, all the amenities you need. And a custom computer screen with some lore on it.
Sweet.
Then, moving forward...
Nice little bit of greeble here with this ground down block.
Oh yeah, that's mainly for ventilation, but it does work very well. And if we move through here, and yeah, the door auto closes. This is sort of a long corridor, because I didn't really have any space to put anything in here. Because we are now going to move into the drop base. Here we have the port 2 base. Some spare parts on the side here in case you want to repair your fighter or whatever. And pretty much the exact same thing on the other side. But if we decide to just... Yeah. Oh, don't get squished by the door. If we move back through the ship once the airlock is cycled, then move along here. Bit of a long walk, I won't lie. If we move towards the middle, we have this pretty well protected sort of central access shaft. Heavy armor on the floor next to the jump drive, protected by a turret as well. Just in case anyone tries to get in.
I do like an interior turret.
Yep, you don't see that every day, actually.
No, you don't.
If we move up here through the quote-unquote elevator. Right, moving up into the bridge, we have the bridge featuring a pilot and co-pilot seat. Both with a lot of details with the LCDs, especially if you like sit in it and look around with the alt cam.
Oh yeah, target lock as well.
Yep, you have all the targeting information that you need for Warfare 2 and whatnot.
Sweet.
And behind you, you have 2 flight engineer seats, both with like a lot of graphs and whatnot on it for general information.
Yeah.
Plus custom programmable block script for a bit of lore. With the spinny line thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
nice. Lots of windows.
If you want, you can take it for a spin. It's pretty damn maneuverable.
So which one's the flight seat?
Left one.
This one. Alright, sweet. Let's give it a spinneroonie. So yeah, it turns about as sort of like a frigate. Let's have a look at the acceleration here. Let's give it the beans. So yeah, pretty good acceleration.
Certainly got enough to be very competent against enemies on the planet even.
Yeah, it brakes very
especially Mars.
Well. Nice bit of thrust. So
I am relatively sure that it can fly inverted.
I'm pretty sure that, yeah, the weakest is probably side to side.
Oh yeah, for sure. Side to side thrust is not the best, honestly. Like, doesn't really need it.
Yeah, you can just like fly it like this.
Yeah, and that's how you would normally fly it on a planet as well if you had like aerodynamics and whatnot. So
yeah, that's another thing. It's pretty streamlined as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that was another design consideration actually, just making it like streamlined. Now, if you have a look at your additional toolbars actually in the flight seat.
Oh yeah.
You will notice one has a lot of programmable blocks. That's the red alert system.
That is a lot. So if I press this button, oh, what does that one do?
That's yellow alert.
What's yellow?
Well, yellow is just like caution. Well, this is red alert. And it updates all the lights across the entire ship. Like, at least the interior, not the exterior. That would be a bit dumb, but... There's like... I've pretty much set up all alerts that you could possibly want. Blue for like docking and whatnot. Black for stealth. Or purple, I guess.
Oh yeah.
And you also have silent running, which just dims the lights. And you have an intruder alert, lastly.
Oh, that's sick. And then I'm guessing number one resets it.
Yeah, and that's just the alarm reset. And there's actually, if we were to move back down, because that's pretty much all there is on the bridge actually. If we move back towards the front of the ship and move down the stairs and you look up, you actually have a panic button.
Oh!
In case you happen to be alone on the ship or something and you get hit, you can immediately press it and, well, trigger a red alert.
That's a really cool feature actually, I like that.
Yeah, I've noticed because like a lot of ships just only have like one console to adjust the alerts, and sure it makes sense from a hierarchy standpoint where like, oh, only certain individuals are supposed to do it, but like, say what if you have someone like, or what if you have a fire on the ship? Well, what are you gonna do? Walk up to the captain?
Yeah, you'd have to run all the way up to the bridge, whereas here you can just give it a quick...
You can just slap the alarm button and trigger it from there, or reset the alarm in case you're like out of combat or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Right, so you have a sliced version of the bow, so you can show us a little bit of the ship's internal. So you have got full production on this ship as well.
Yep, got a full-size refinery, full-size assembler, all hooked up with modules.
Yeah, so you're able to machine parts for docked fighters. So it's pretty capable of sort of serving on its own, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it can technically land on a planet and sustain a small base even.
Has it got O2s, generators?
Yep.
So it can refuel as well.
It can refuel. It's got, as a one-off actually in WEC, it's got nuclear reactors for once.
Oh, right, okay.
Because normally WEC ships are powered almost exclusively just by like hydrogen engines.
Yeah.
Maybe occasionally a solar panel or two. But for this I decided, well, it's a carrier, it's gonna be an expensive vessel, might as well make use of expensive things like a nuclear reactor. So it's actually got 2 small reactors somewhere in the back.
What about storage? What's the storage?
It's got a few cargo containers, nothing too major really. Mainly because I didn't really have space to put anywhere.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really need it actually, because the assembler and the refinery, they can store so many things already.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Usually you'd have like additional cargo vessels and whatnot nearby that would take care of the storage for you.
Yeah. Right, so should we have a look at this sliced down version, or is there anything you want to quickly mention on the whole version at the moment?
Not really actually. I guess I can mention the docking port on the bottom.
Oh yeah?
This was actually built as part of a dry dock system that I have. I could show this actually in a bit as well after the sliced bow.
Yeah, take a look.
Yeah, but besides that, I think we can actually show the sliced version.
Right, okay, let's get that out. Right, so here we have the sliced bow, so you can see some of the internals here. Do you want to just give us a quick run over of what we've got?
Yeah, I basically just cut away some of the conveyors, some of the armor, and it just exposes like the internals. If we actually get rid of these power efficiency modules, you can see that we have, as mentioned before, the full-scale assembler plus a full-scale refinery. That's what I mentioned earlier with tanking a lot of damage on the front, because these actually absorb bullets like a sponge.
They absorb railgun rounds.
Oh yeah, that too. So this essentially just lets the Talos, like, well, as mentioned earlier, supply bases, supply fleets. From a lore standpoint, it was actually designed as a vessel during wartime production, during just wartime efforts, to, in case all else fails, supply the entire WEC Mars fleet with supplies.
Right, okay.
And it's another reason why this ship actually serves as the current flagship of the WEC. But yeah, no, there's just a lot of redundant conveying systems in the Talos, some oxygen generation capacity, and yeah, just in general, lots of redundancy in regards to the systems.
Sweet, so should we go take a look at the dry dock down on the planet now?
Sure thing. Right, here we are at the dry dock facility. This is actually a separate blueprint. I probably will publish it sometime later actually, once I've maybe added a few more details. But it just generally serves as a planetary parking bay for the Talos, if you want to put it that way. And it actually has like these support pillars that hook really nicely into the frame of the ship. Especially at the front with the conveying. And on the back you have the sort of flame trench area for the engines that are a bit closer to the ground. And on the sides we have the stairwell area that actually like leads us into the ship. Jesus. With general parking like signatures and whatnot on the ground with the paint. And if we actually move to the front over here beneath the drop bays, which align very nicely with the writing on the ground, you can, technically speaking, use a forklift to load fighters assembled on the planet into the drop bays.
Oh, okay. That's really cool.
It takes a bit of effort to do it, but it actually works kind of well for survival.
Yeah.
Although, if you want to go through that effort instead of just flying and docking it there, that's another question. But it's nice to have.
Tell you what, this really gives you a sense of scale, just walking underneath this thing. It really makes you realise how big this actually is. Jesus Christ. It's huge! Look at it. Alright, should we head up one of these towers?
Oh yeah, sure. Let's head up over here.
Some railings.
I'll turn on the warning lights on the top. And if we head inside through this rather useless airlock, which is a bit dark, but we do have ambient light. We head up this rather convoluted stairwell that I probably built within like 5 minutes.
Does the trick.
Yeah, we head back up through another airlock out onto the walkway, which, without merge blocks, lines up really well.
It actually does. I didn't even know. Look at that. Wow.
And yes, it also has merge blocks that technically you could use to clamp it down a bit more tight if you needed to like assemble it.
Alright, sweet. Well, we'll wrap things up. If you've got anything else to say, then...
Not really. I think that's it.
I think that's it. Well, thanks for coming on the channel, Yoshi. If you guys want to check out the Talos, you can do via the link that will be in the video description, also in the pinned comment section. Thanks for coming on the channel and showing us around this awesome creation.
No problem.
And yeah, if you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, and as always, take care, everybody.